don't know. I'm overwhelmed right now. I'm excited, but these dudes fight. They fight, and I'm looking at the scores in the second half. 7 points in the third, and 11 in the fourth. So barely scoring double figures. That's really just been us though all season. We really lock down and get focused on defense, man. It's hard for teams to score, and so it's really just what we've been all year, and they just continue to do it day in and day out.
Coach, the switch to that 2-3 zone with the guard out on the wing, it's like 5 quick points. You had a couple turnovers and then 3, kind of just deflated them and totally changed. Was that a halftime adjustment you guys made?
Yes, it was. We played it a little bit in the first half, but we like to play it with more so principles. And so I just reminded them about those principles, and our length has always been to our advantage. And so I wanted to remind them if we can be long and extend it out some more, we may be able to put more pressure on them and make them throw some long passes, and that's what they did.
Coach, in the second half, how important was it for you guys to really get those turnovers? 64 is 19. Not only that, but to capitalize on with 19 points off turnovers, I believe, most of them in the second half.
That was the game. That was the game. For us, it's always been, the team with the most easiest buckets wins, and so we couldn't make a bucket in the first half, I felt like. But to only be down 1, we really needed some easy buckets. So, for them to get out and get some layups, it always turns into defense for us, and, that's what happened.
Antwon, how big of a lift was it for you guys to come out at halftime and then see all your fans there after their bus broke down?
It was a real big lift, to see our crowd come out. They said they was gonna come out and support us, But for the support, that helps us out. But at the same time, if they're not there, we got to continue to support each other on the bench as well.
Were you guys looking for them in the first half? Did you know something was going on, or?
Yeah, we found out that the bus broke down. So, we got to do our job, and we got to hold it down for our fans, and that's what we did until they got here.
Coach, you obviously used to seeing big nights from Antwon, Tervel, and Montel, but to see Desmond step up the way he did with 14 points, getting 3 steals, and all the big plays he had in transition, how much of a lift was that for your team?
Well, Desmond is an outstanding defender, outstanding leader and point guard, and that's him every night. It just so happens that he added more points today, but he normally fills in the gaps wherever we need it. If it's a stop on D, he does it. If it's a great pass, he does it. And so this team is full of leaders and full of warriors, and so that doesn't shock me at all. We expect that from him, but I think his efficiency was what was big. He didn't take a whole lot of shots, but the ones he shot, he made. So.
Desmond, talking about your guys' ability to get in transition, you and Drayvon seemed like you were working the fast break a lot. Was that when you felt like the game changed, when you guys were able to get out and run, especially early in that second half?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, hey, Desmond, not to interrupt, but I think you're having problems with your throat. You took a hard charge, although you didn't get the call, and came down about 2 minutes later at the other end and got leveled. I guess, are you okay?
Yes, my dad always told me just to get back up, even if on a hard fall, just get right back up, and that's what I did.
Antwon, what was it like coming out here, playing your early game at Ohio State, and just the whole experience of being here?
It's a great feeling. We always preach. We wanted to come down here and win states. So to come out here and pull out a big win down here at Columbus in Ohio State, it's a great feeling. It's a lot of seats. All eyes was on us. Our crowd came out, so to get a win out here and to be here, it's just a great feeling.
And Jeremy, what about the whole community showing out for you guys today?
That's huge. That's huge. The level of support is great, and we're gonna need it again tomorrow. But you know, there are people out there who I haven't seen in a long time. But to see them is you know, is motivating. Childhood friends, old coaches of mine, and it's really special when you can do it, you know, for them, because they've done things for me, myself, and my life when I was younger. You know, to see them support. Not only do I want to get it done for, you know, these guys first, but you know, all the supporters second.
Coach, first year and you make it to the state finals. What's your thoughts on that? First year as head coach.
I can't describe the feeling. I've grinded in the game of basketball and worked hard for a number of years. I would probably have to take hours to sit and explain all the things that I've done that no one knows about, and I was just doing it, you know, for the love of the game. And so God is just rewarding me for working hard. But I planned this. This is not something that we lucked up on. When I got the job and I walked in the door, the first thing I told these guys is we will go and compete for a state championship, and I meant that wholeheartedly.
Truthfully, he really said
that.
that.
And I say it every day. They've never heard me say anything else. So it's no shock, you know, that we're here, although it is humbling and eye-opening, but, you know, we got one more game to play.
And to add on that, you know, when he first came in, he introduced himself to me. And I also introduced myself to him, and the first thing he said to me was, state championship, state championship. And it just been a grind all summer. The bleachers, just everything on the track, in the gym, putting up shots. You know, when we don't got nothing to do, we got days off of school. Is y'all trying to get in the gym? It was just an everyday grind, every day. So what he's saying is definitely true.
Coach, or anybody wants to, as far as obviously you guys play a brutal schedule, and your 4 losses are against some big-time competition. How much has that schedule prepared you for this moment to come down here? And twofold, how was that win against Akron St. Vincent's give your confidence coming into this game today?
Well, first of all, when I got the job and the athletic director slid the schedule across the table, I was like, you know, did you know this was my first year? I thought we were going to, you know, play a couple teams where it wouldn't be so much pressure. But it made me grow up fast. It made me grow up fast. And with the schedule so strong, we've seen probably every type of team that you could imagine. You know, we've been in some battles. And so if you look at our schedule and look at the 3 teams that we lost to, 2 of them are in Columbus, and one of them, we stopped them from going to Columbus a week ago. And so, you know, I don't know if beating St. Vincent St. Mary gave us more confidence than we already had. You know, like I told the kids, the game wasn't big because we were playing St. V. The game was big because we wanted to go to Columbus. And I've always put more emphasis on us than I have on any opponent that we've had, because I don't want them to get, you know, to the point where we turn anxiousness into nervousness. I want them to know that I believe in them more than anybody. So, you know, we have some tough battles, and we're battle tested, and that's what you see today, a battle tested team that's prepared for anyone.
And Coach, just quickly, last 2 games you've held your opponent to a season low both times. What does that just say overall about where you guys at defensively?
It really is just a testament to how hard they work in practice. These guys work to the point where we have to end practice or someone's going to kill someone. And so, I mean, they work. That is what they do every day. They compete against each other, and they make each other better. And you know, that's what makes our team special, is that when you can go in and have a Antwon, Lillard, you know, a Desmond, Crosby, you know, Terrell Beck, but there are guys that, you know, that people don't talk about that push them every single day. And we have that. And so, you know, because they go so hard in practice, it just carries over to the game. And you know, that's what you see. And we probably spend 75% our practice on defense. And they just have learned to love it. You know, it's the one thing that most people don't want to do for that long, but, you know, our team, they've learned to love to play defense. And the more they get stops, the harder they play. The more they get stops, the harder they play, and then it transitions into offense. So it's just who they are.